flower's purpose is simple and immutable. Human purpose is fickle, because it is a slave to memory. Memories must be strictly managed, Alice. Unproductive ones must be eliminated. The railway running through Wonderland sounds charming, but inefficient. Noise and smoke, like snips and snails, perhaps. Best to forget that train. A mock turtle as conductor? Oh, no, I don't think that will do at all. Some insects eat their young, Alice. They have much to teach us, alive or dead. Grave news. The ship was crushed and her crew lost. She was not built for navigating the Arctic ice fields. The recent competition of governments in fitting out polar expeditions is a needless waste of human life. Unpleasantness, remote in time and space, has only as much power as vivid memory offers it. Keep troubles and torments at a distance where they may be easily forgotten. What Nurse Witless said was, "The fire whooshed in, lit her up like the guy on Cracker Night. No one knows how she survived except Alice, and she's stum, remember?" Flush the unpleasant from your mind, Alice. Reject the painful as you would the repulsive and depraved. Forgetting is an art. Lovers often exchange a lock of hair to symbolize their vows. The human heart is opened by a vast assortment of keys. Light? Light is useless if what it illuminates causes pain and suffering. Better to cast such things into the dark depths of Lethe, the river of forgetfulness. Balance is the golden mean of all things, Alice, between light and dark, between disease and health, or even between wrong and right. Everything has a season, Alice. A flower blooms and fades away. Memories, too, have a useful life. We should eliminate the ones that hurt. Damaged people feed on the emotions of others, Alice, their strengths and weaknesses. The proofs are legion. Every creature has a purpose. It is my sacred duty to fit every young person to a calling, be it for ornament or use. Read your history. Read your mythology. Every child has a purpose. It is the beholden duty of knowing adults to fit every young person to her calling. Remaking children. Build them up, tear them down, refashion them. Teach them the new, forget the old.
You're part frog, Alice, I swear. You jump so well.
If you leap from that table again, Alice, I'll expire. You're 2 times too reckless, my girl.
Amanita muscaria, Alice, is merely a stinky toadstool. A spongy consistency, but poisonous.
I'll never have more fun alone than when I rode the big slide in Hyde Park. Papa will take you soon, Alice.
Lizzie, remember when a burst of steam blew your dress up around your neck? Just outside Harrods it was. Fortunate your undergarments had been laundered.
My heart is open, Alice. Never closed. Never locked. It needs no key.
Bricks are rocks, Alice. A brick house, like Gibraltar, is impervious to fire, weather, and the indecencies of Barbary macaques, should the need arise.
We'll all roast in our beds, Alice, for the sake of your father's unnatural devotion to printed paper. This hoard of flammables wants only a malignant spark and poof, our flesh and blood is smoke and ash.
With gas laid on, Alice, we'll go to Brighton on what we save on beeswax, candles and oil. Remember, Alice, don't curse the darkness or the cold when you're in the library at night.
Cover its cage and the canary goes to sleep, Alice. Out like a snuffed candle. Sleeps the sleep of the just. Like Mama and Papa. After 10, they're unconscious. Papa! Papa, your enthusiasm for photography makes the library smell like rotted fruit. And I'm certain these solutions are toxic.
Whoever said there is no book so bad but something good may be found in it never read Martin Farquhar Tupper's proverbial philosophy.
I'm pleased you love my sea creatures, Alice. Photographs are a kind of imitation. A great painter captures a true likeness. The camera helps an amateur come close.
Most theatricals and gaffs are unsuitable for young persons. Punch and Judy dust-ups are no more than vulgar domestic arguments.
Whoever destroys a soul destroys the world. There is much wisdom in that, Alice.
I've smoked a cigarette, Alice. No fun at all. One day I'll try a clay pipe. Poor Dodgson is a pathetic sailor and an even worse captain. We'd have run aground on the Isis if I hadn't taken an oar.
We'll keep just the one lamp, Alice, as a nightlight, but it stays in the upstairs hall and only till you turn 12. Music soothes the savage in us, Alice. Practice. The piano's for more than holding down the carpet.
When Papa grounded me, I climbed down the trellis. The tree branch makes a bridge, and it's not much of a drop. Keep our secret, Alice, or we're not sisters.
Fire, Alice! Fire!
Save yourself! Wake up, Lizzie! Lizzie! Open the door!
The key, Lizzie! Unlock the door! You'll burn! Regrettably, the creature has to die for its image to be properly captured. The subjects of art often suffer.
Claimed I'd stolen his heart. Trifling with his affections. Creepy sod. Touching me. Told Papa to never invite him to tea again.
No bearskin rug before the hearth, no deer antlers on the wall, no taxidermic abominations in the house. Demeans the creature's dignity. A weapon's intended function is almost beside the point. Ultimately, it's only as good as the person who wields it.
A locked room is little more than a cage. A prison by another name. I despise concealment of any kind.
Help us, Alice! Save us, Alice! Don't leave us alone, Alice! Don't abandon us, Alice! Stay with us!
Once the bounder followed me into the ladies at Waterloo Station. I had to call the attendant. His hand was slimy, Alice, like an eel from the Isis. And his name won't help. Bumby. If he ever qualifies, his bedside manner will require improvement.
You're not a cat, my dear. One life is your allotment. Please be more careful with the carving knife.
All those undergraduates waiting for a word from Papa. Might I hold the tea cosy, sir? Might I pour, sir? Bunch of toadies.
My father would wish that you hold your tears, girls. He lived a long life, and as the poet says, like a clock worn out with eating time, the wheels of weary life at last stood still.
I'm no toy. He wanted me to do things I didn't want to do.
It could have happened that way, Alice. You remember poor Mr. Crook died, didn't he? Dr. Wilson rejects spontaneous combustion, but I trust Mr. Dickens. I know you hear me, you contrary child. Use the bedpan and let go of that wretched rabbit. So I says to Dr. Bumby, I says, model making's all fine and good, but a waste of a perfectly good bottle. I could fill it with gin for threepence. Skin burned by fire or scalded by steam looks wrinkled like a toadstool in winter. Certain smells are one-off. You'd never mistake burning human flesh for roasting a lamb chop. Born in the wrong century I was, Alice. Picture me, Madame Duvage, knitting away as deserving heads roll from the guillotine. Ah, those were good days. Dr. Wilson's not fooled, Alice. Discipline must be maintained. Cleanliness is optional. Whatever you've imagined about electrical current, it's not half of it. It can be a persuasive teacher, strict mind, demanding. There's a tool for every task. Even the humble funnel has a special job. How would you get gin from a barrel into a bottle?
Look how small she's become, all curled up. She's barely there, a vixen in her hidey-hole. Flight or fight implies a permanent choice, but flight often just means putting off the fight to another day. Choose your battles wisely, Alice. Alice was often alone, an interior and lonesome child, I suspect. Her sister, though loving and much too old to be a playmate. It's been years now, Alice. Time to put away childish things. Epidermis was singed to the third layer, and the rest of her skin was as brittle as carp scales. Pets are friends and our secret selves, Alice. Your rabbit, too. I'm sure Dinah was a confidant. Always about, wasn't she? She is certainly ill. She imagines odd things, and she has a hero complex, an inherent desire to help others, being unable to help herself, and a compulsion to make the world right. She's trying to unlock the true meaning of her life, and she doesn't know who has the key. Games, too, require hard choices. Unpleasant sacrifices must often be made to accomplish a desired goal. Food looms large in your dreams, Alice, but cake occupies a special place. Never rejected dessert, I suspect, nor tea if cake was on offer. As beloved toys are to children, children often are to grown-ups, objects of fancy and imagination and eventually discarded. The gulf separating effective treatment from quackery is narrower than professional opinion would admit, likewise the distance between knowledge and ignorance. The signs of the body's illness or infirmity are obvious compared to those of the diseased mind. And the cures? How and when a broken leg heals is clear. Can one heal a broken mind? How does one know if it's healed?
Finish your soup, girls. Bovine juveniles gave their all for it. Everyone knows the mischief began among your father's mountain of paper, Alice. The real question is how. Pris Witless never saw a bottle of gin she couldn't empty in an hour. Do most anything for threepence and a long taste of blue ruin. If you spent as much time practicing as you do in Wonderland, you'd be the next Sullivan or Gilbert or one of them. Radcliffe asked me in just the once. Odd duck. Very proud of his artefacts. Ming, I think he said. And partial to Tokugawa Japan. Doesn't seem the samurai type, but perhaps that's why. Every picture tells a story. You wouldn't tolerate a book without pictures when you were a girl. It's well known that he who eats with the devil must have a very long spoon.
Industry thrives on suffering, obsolescence, and ruination, Alice. It's made the East End into a privy. Consider a simple farm life in Australia, perhaps. We might liquidate what remains of your inheritance. Scoundrel was fitted with grotesque headgear. If I have ever owned an accessory that unseemly, I'd burn it. Destroy all evidence of it and deny its existence. I value my reputation. Not burned beyond recognition, as I recall. It was the smoke, you see. One day you'll be joining them in the Oxford family vault, I imagine. Odd indeed. Unusual, perhaps. Even extraordinary. But nearly nothing is unique, Alice. Yours was not the first brick home to be destroyed by fire. Catastrophe may strike even the best regulated families, Miss Little. Of course, one family's disaster may be another family's opportunity. And the same goes for a surviving family member, if you know what I mean. Whoever said true art serves neither ornament nor use is ignorant of the aesthetic of the East. A dutiful, honourable daughter would commemorate her deceased family in marble. I know a gifted sculptor with whom I might negotiate a commission. The conflagration's point of origin was obvious. First, the library caught fire, and it spread disastrously when the gas line exploded. I do support the monarchy, in principle. I'm sure the Queen is very good at what she does, whatever that is. But is she not a person, just like ourselves? Lovely service, beautiful music, closed caskets, though I'm told your sister could have shown to advantage. The flames never got to her. I was required to identify your family in the Oxford morgue. Your sister was completely recognizable. I can't say the same for your parents. The undiscovered guilty and the wronged innocent share similar fates. Prisons and chains have many forms.